Hey guys, and welcome back. We still on our theme, Solomon the Wise King. Now guys, I want to know, making decisions is hard sometimes, hey?
Yes.
Sometimes we have to decide between things like what sports we want to play. So I want to ask you guys, would you choose cricket or rugby? Cricket, okay. Rugby, okay. So we have cricket, rugby. And when it comes to food, would you guys choose pizza or burgers? Pizza. Burgers. I choose burgers too. And when it comes to spending your holiday somewhere, would you spend it in Cape Town or in Durban? Cape Town. Okay, I choose Cape Town too. Cape Town is beautiful. Now, King Solomon had to make wise decisions because he had to help all the people in his kingdom make decisions. And that must have been a tough job, hey? But we need to remember that we need to decide with wisdom, and we get wisdom from God. Will you guys remember that?
Yes.
Cool. Enjoy, guys.
Faithful through the ages. God of Abraham, you're the God of covenant and faithful promises. Time and time again, you have proven you'll do just what you said. Though the storms may come and the winds may blow, I'll remain steadfast and let my heart learn when you speak a word, it will come to pass. Great is your faithfulness to me. Great is your faithfulness to me. From the rising sun to the setting same, I will praise your name. Great is your faithfulness to me. Oh, seasons change, you remain the same.
Welcome back to our memory verse. Have you guys been practicing our little routine? Let's go over it once. What do you think? All right, drummer, let's go. Are you guys ready? Okay, get ready. Ready? And 5, 6, 7, let's go. It is much better to get wisdom than gold. It is much better to choose understanding than silver. Proverbs 16, verse 16. Proverbs 16, verse 16. Hey! Well done, guys. That was awesome. But now, I have a challenge for you. Let's do the routine 2 more times. Firstly, I'm going to do it with you, singing it and dancing. The second time, I'm just going to dance and see if you guys can remember what the song says. Does that sound like a plan? Do you think you're up for the challenge? I think you are. Are you ready? Let's give it a go. Drummer, let's go. Ready? And 5, 6, 7, and it is much better to get wisdom than gold. It is much better to choose understanding than silver. Your turn. Proverbs 16, verse 16. Proverbs 16, verse 16. Hey! Good. Did you guys get that right? Well done. Why don't you guys teach it to some other people you know and share it with your friends and family? And remember to always try and be wise and ask God for wisdom. See you guys next time. Bye.
Today, I want to tell you a little bit more about King Solomon. Some people call him King Solomon the Wise. He was the wisest king who ever lived. He was also the richest king who ever lived. He had so much gold and so much silver that he could give it away and not even notice that some was missing. He was really wealthy and he was in charge of a large kingdom with lots and lots of people. He had a lot of responsibility. And one of the things that he used to do is he had to make wise decisions every day. And just like Solomon, you and I sometimes have to make decisions too. And it's important that we learn to decide with wisdom, to think carefully before we make decisions, and to make sure that the decisions that we make are wise. And now today, I want to tell you about a wise decision and also a foolish decision that King Solomon made. So first, I want to talk to you about one of the mistakes that I think King Solomon made. I think it was a foolish decision because it says that this not only brought trouble to King Solomon himself, but it had bad effects on the whole of the nation of Israel. And that decision that King Solomon made is that he listened to the advice of the other kings from the other kingdoms around him. Now, you need to understand, in those days, one of the things that they did to keep peace between countries is that they would get the kings and the princes and the princesses to marry each other. And that was one of the ways that they would make sure that there was peace between the countries and they wouldn't attack each other. And so the kings of many of the kingdoms surrounding Solomon and the kingdom of Israel came to King Solomon with gifts and with lots of nice things to give him, and they said to him, we want to make an alliance with you. We would like our princess to marry you so that we'll be related, we'll be family, and then we can have an alliance. And unfortunately, King Solomon made a very foolish decision. He decided to do things the way that the other kings and queens did in those days, and so he married lots of princesses. In fact, he had several queens and many, many wives, and he even had concubines, which means that they weren't quite as important as the princesses and queens. He had so many wives and women that it caused problems in his family, and it caused problems for the nation of Israel. One of the problems that it caused is that when they came from the other kingdoms that they came from, they brought with them idols and other ways of worship, which was not the way that they worshipped in the land of Israel. They didn't know about the God of Israel, and so they brought idols and pagan practices to the nation of Israel. And that was a very foolish thing. It caused Solomon and many of his people a lot of grief. And that was a decision that Solomon made that was not wise at all. And to be quite honest, I don't think it's a good idea to have lots of wives either. But it's not all bad news. I also want to tell you about an example of a wise decision that King Solomon made. And I want you to be like King Solomon. I want you to remember to decide with wisdom. Whenever you're faced with a difficult decision, stop, think about it carefully, and get God's wisdom. Ask God for wisdom. He'll give you wisdom. And you can also get wise advice from wise advisors who are also godly people. And so I want to tell you about one of the difficult decisions that King Solomon had to make. Now you need to imagine how this worked. King Solomon would come out in the morning dressed smartly in his fancy king robes with his crown on his head, and he would sit on his throne, and then people would come to him and they would ask him to make decisions about difficult things. And one day, 2 women and 1 baby came to his court. And the one woman was angry, and she looked really, really mean, and she was holding a baby. And the other woman had tears streaming down her face. And the 2 women came to Solomon when their turn came, and they presented their case. And King Solomon said to them, "What seems to be the problem today?" And first, the angry woman spoke, and she said, "King Solomon, this lady and I, we lived in the same house together, and we had both had babies that were nearly the same age. And we used to sleep with the babies in the bed next to us. And that woman's baby died in the night. And now she wants to take my baby. This is my baby," she said. "Oh," said King Solomon, "this is quite a difficult situation." And then he turned to the woman who had tears streaming down her face, and he said to her, "Tell me your side of the story." And the woman said, in between her sobs, she said, "Yes, it is true. This lady and I, we shared a house, and yes, it's true, we both had babies, and our babies used to sleep in bed. But the rest is not true. She's lying," she said. "While I was sleeping in the night, that woman came and she stole my baby that was living, and instead she put her dead baby in the bed next to me, and now she says that that baby is her child. Please, please help me. Please, King Solomon, that's my only child. Please tell her to give my baby back." Wow, now this was a tricky one. King Solomon looked at the one woman and he looked at the other woman. How could he know which one was telling the truth? And then he got a wise idea. Sometimes when we ask God for wisdom, he'll give us ideas that seem a little bit strange. And he turned to one of his guards and he said, "Bring me a sword." Both of the women looked quite alarmed. And they brought the sword over, and then he said to his soldier, he said, "You know what? I want you to please cut the baby in half. Both women claim it is their child. Cut the baby in half, and they can each have half." Well, the response was quite shocking. Firstly, the angry woman turned and she held out the baby to the soldier and she said, "Yes, cut the baby in half. Fair's fair, we can each have half." And the woman, with tears streaming down her face, said, "No, no." She said, "Stop, please, don't harm the baby." She said, "I know that's my child, and I want him to be with me forever. But more important than that is that my baby is healthy and unharmed. If it means that he has to grow up with that woman as his mother, I would rather have him healthy with another woman than cutting him in half. Please, don't hurt my baby." And then Solomon turned to the soldier and he said, "Wait." He said, "I think I know who the real mother is. Can you guess who it was?" Solomon recognized that the angry woman, who was willing to let the child die, did not have a mother's heart at all. In fact, she was probably lying. Where the other woman was willing to even lose something herself as long as her baby was safe. And so he said to the guard, give the baby to this mother, the mother who wants to look after him, because she's got a real mother's heart. That was quite a difficult decision, right? And just like Solomon had to decide with wisdom, you're going to be faced with some difficult decisions some days. And I want you to remember that you need to make decisions with wisdom. Don't make a quick decision without thinking about it. And remember to get wise advice from people who will give you advice that lines up with God's word. God's word says we need to look after children, right? And we need to make wise decisions. Decide with wisdom whenever you make a decision. And then you will be like wise King Solomon too. So now when you go into your small groups, I want you to take some time and talk about some difficult decisions that maybe you've had to make. And do you think you made wise decisions? Or do you think you've maybe made some foolish decisions? And if you've made some foolish decisions, maybe you can find a wise way to correct them. Have a great week, and remember, decide with wisdom. Hey guys, and welcome back to this week's activity. We are still on Solomon, the wise king. And Solomon had to make wise decisions, and he had to decide with wisdom. Now I want to know if you guys can do the same. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to tell you guys, or ask you guys about a few scenarios. Okay, so I'm going to paint a picture for you guys, and you guys need to tell me what you guys would do in that scenario, and what's the wisest choice you would make. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay, so the first scenario is you guys are at school and you guys are writing an exam. And then all of a sudden you spot your friend cheating in the exam. What would you guys do? Let's start with Matthew.
I would cover my work and tell the teacher.
Okay, so hide your work and tell the teacher. That's smart. Dakalo?
I would tell the teacher also and tell the teacher to lower their marks because they were cheating.
Okay, so tell the teacher and see if maybe they'll get less marks. Yes. Okay. Hannah, what would you do?
I would confront them about it and tell them that cheating isn't good. And then I would tell the teacher.
Okay.
And then, hopefully they don't do it again next time.
Ah, that's smart. That is wise. So telling your friend, listen, cheating is not okay. And if you get caught, you're going to get in trouble, right? And Mark, what would you do?
I'll tell the teacher.
Okay, you'd also tell the teacher. Okay, good. Well done, guys. Those are some wise decisions. Next scenario, you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay. Again, you guys are at school. But then at school, there's this really nasty friend who keeps bullying you every day. It's either they take your lunch or they pull your hair, and you just don't know what to do. But now you have to do something, so what would you guys do?
I
Takalo?
would tell their register teacher and I would tell my teacher what he was doing too.
Okay. So report it to a teacher. That's wise. Who wants to go next? Matthew?
I would tell them to stop.
Okay.
Then I would tell the teacher.
Okay. Well, that's brave. Confronting them and telling them to stop is brave. Hannah?
I would stand up for myself as well.
Nice.
And I don't know, I would just tell them and try to stop them from also bullying anyone else.
Okay. So when you say stand up for yourself, would you bully them back?
No, I mean I would tell them to stop bullying me.
Okay. And Mark, what would you do?
Teacher on duty to tell him he's always bullying me.
Ah, okay. That's smart. So either confronting the bully and telling them, please stop, you're bullying me and that doesn't make me feel good. And then, of course, telling a teacher or even your parents, hey?
Yeah.
Well done, guys. Okay, here's a next one. So, you guys, let's say you either at school or at home, either way. But one of your friends decides that they want to pull a prank on someone. And one of those pranks are, they want to call the police. They want to prank call the police. Do you think that's wise? What would you guys do?
Go
Takalo?
like this
Oh, Mark, okay.
and say I never did. I wasn't in here.
Oh, so you just leave them to do it alone? Okay. So run away. I'm not being a part of that. Okay, that's what Mark would do. Lakalo?
I would jump, and if they answered, I'll jump immediately.
Okay.
And I would tell my friend to register the teacher or the principal.
Okay. So you'd report them and you tell them that it's wrong as well? You tell your friend that it's wrong? Hannah, would you do that?
Yeah, I think I would try to get the phone away from them.
Okay.
Kind of tell them what's going on before they think it's an actual case.
Yes.
I would
Matthew?
run to the bathroom.
You'd also run away. Like, I also don't want to be a part of this. You're on your own. Okay. But remember, guys, prank calling the police is never a good idea. They're there to help us. And remember, we only call them if we need them. Let's think of another prank. Let's say one of your friends decides that they're going to come over to your house and they're going to have some tea and coffee with you guys. Then you think, well, what if I put salt instead of sugar in their coffee? Do you think that's nice? Do you think that's wise?
And you might don't know if they're allergic to salt.
They might be allergic, you never know. It might be funny in the moment, but I don't think your friend would feel very nice, hey?
Yes, unless they like salt and not sugar.
Which I highly doubt. But anyway, you never know. Yeah, guys, so remember, there's a lot of decisions we have to make in life, and there's going to be a lot of choices we're going to have to face. But remember that we need to decide with wisdom, just how Solomon did. Are you guys going to remember to do that?
Yes.
Okay, good job, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.